I'm going to tell you the one reason why you should consider buying the Asus Republic of Gaming 6 phone. And that's only if you do extreme gaming. And that might be pretty apparent because everybody knows it's a gaming phone, but a lot of people also think that it's a cool looking phone that could be a great daily driver, and in reality, yes, it is uncanny amazing at playing video games, especially when you talk about the mobile processor platform, because it has a great way of mitigating the heat, which is that cooling fan, which will help keep you cool while you're playing the game. You as in the phone, not you personally, unless you like put it on your face, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. That's probably dangerous. So when it comes to this phone, it looks cool. I mean, they spared no expense when it comes to decorations and the look, which is something you would expect from Asus and Republic Gaming, and also something you would expect from a gaming phone. You want something that catches the eye, that's cool, it's appealing, that is a good topic of discussion, but also has a little bit of extra flair. Of course, those touch-sensitive button areas is pretty neat too. So when it comes to this phone, yes, I think that if you want to get it just for gaming, then that's fine. And you can use it. You can put a SIM card in. It's got 5G. This is probably the best, most well-supported Asus Republic of Gaming phone yet. And with this, though, there are still some things, though, that I think they fall short, because I've been watching some reviews on it, and a lot of people say before their phones were very much an emphasis on gaming, but there was a lot that was lost when it came to being an actual phone, i.e. the camera department, the screen quality, the connection, there were certain things that were great for gaming, but not so great for carrying it around in your pocket. And I think those are two distinctions that are important to make, because a lot of people that are using this phone for gaming, you want a lot that it has to offer. 6,000 milliamp battery, super fast charging, 2 USB ports. You can stay in business and keep playing while you're charging. That's something some other phones don't offer. However, if you want to use it for a daily driver, one point of contention I have with this phone, it has a 1080p screen. And you might be saying, well, it's a 1080p, it's an OLED, it's 165 hertz. Yes, they've made a lot of improvements there, but I gotta say, I like having a Quad HD Plus screen. Now, there were tests that were done a long time ago. When they first came out with a Quad HD Plus screen, a lot of people were like, you can't tell the difference. And people are still saying that 10 years later. But you can. I mean, some people can anyway. If you don't need glasses to be able to see the TV properly, you can probably tell a difference if you actually look. So when you get to 1080p, basically once it gets over, you can't tell a difference between 1080p and Quad HD Plus until you get over a 5.3 inch screen. That was the criteria years and years and years ago, if my memory serves me correctly. Well, this has got a 6.8 inch screen. It's actually like 6.78 inches, I think, but they're rounding it up, calling it 6.8. At 6.8 inches, you can tell the difference. I can anyway. And do you care? That's the other point of the story. Do you care if it's not Quad HD Plus? Do you care if it's only 1080p? And some people say that 1080p might help keep the battery consumption down. Maybe it does. It might have some tangible effect on it, but I don't think at this point in time it's that big of a difference anymore. Used to be, it was more of a concern once they first started out because it put such a heavy load on the processor. But nowadays, with these super powerful processors, they don't sweat very much when they do anything other than playing something super high quality and super resource demanding like Genshin Impact. And even still, this game's been out for several years now and is still the defining, basically, phone benchmark when it comes to playing games, because it will severely tax your phone. This is one of those games that taxes all your resources, your memory, your screen, your battery. It will get super hot. There are some phones that just do not play this game very well because it just uses so much power. And some people like that. I mean, if you're a gaming enthusiast, it reminds me of Doom 3 when it came out years and years ago. So for you, those of you in my age bracket and probably a little younger, a little older, remember that there was basically no computer out on the market that could max out Doom 3 when it came out. And you had to go out and buy the brand new GTX 6800 to run the sucker. The 6800, I think it was OC even. And it came with the game. I remember it was like $700 back in like 2002, 2003. Like, it was a long time ago. I went out and I bought the 6600 overclocked edition because that's what I could afford back then, and it came with Doom 3. But I put that in my old AMD Athlon 2600 or something. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, I put it in this computer, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever. So when you look now at these gaming phones, a lot of them can do a lot of the same stuff across the board. The S22 Ultra, in my book, is the best gaming phone for most people. Why? Because most people who play phone games are casual gamers. Now, I'm sure there's some sort of an esports group out there that specializes in mobile gaming. But when you look at a lot of other phones, you look at the S22 Ultra, you look at how good it is for network compatibility, you look at how good it is with software support, you look at how good it is with the 4 years of operating system updates and the 5 years of security patches. You look at the camera capabilities they have, which are so good on the front and the back, also for video. It's a very complete phone. And you still get 120 hertz refresh rate versus the 165 on the ASUS Republic of Gaming phone. So this very much is an enthusiast phone. I see why it starts off. I think the lower end, the ASUS Republic of Gaming 6 phone is $999, I think, and then it's a little bit more for the Republic of Gaming Pro phone. The prices are a little up there, but I think that it's probably a pretty good phone if you decide you want to pick one up. But only get it if you just want to have a really cool looking phone and don't care as much about the cameras or the support, because I had the ASUS Republic of Gaming 5 phone last year. I bought it, thought I would test it out for the channel. It's okay, but I think I had the 10-cent edition. It did not get software support and compatibility updates to take advantage of those things like playing 60 frames per second on all the games and playing 165 hertz or 144 on all the games. It's one of those things where the Samsungs and the OnePlus, a lot of those get updated and supported for games a lot faster. So definitely, if there's an option, so that's something to take into consideration. The Asus ones, they're a lot slower to get app support and a lot slower to support their own devices than some of the other guys out there in the field. But it looks nice. It looks sharp. I mean, 18 gigabytes of RAM in the Pro model, that is utterly insane. There's no game out there that I know of that even takes advantage of 18 gigabytes of RAM. So you could argue that it's forward-looking, but even still, I've got an i9 in my computer, Intel i9 with a RTX 3090, and I just got 32 gigabytes of RAM recently. I had 16 for the longest time, and I gotta tell you, there's no difference. Why? Because when it comes to RAM, if you have extra RAM, then the game experience is not going to be any different. So if you've got 8 gigs of RAM in your phone and you're trying to run 10 gigabytes of RAM worth of applications, yeah, it'll slow down some. But if you've got 12 gigs of RAM and you're running 6 gigs of actual applications when you run them, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have 12 gigs of RAM or 32 gigs of RAM. If you're not using all of the RAM that's available, there's no performance improvement in the speed or the way that the game runs. And when it comes to gaming, you can only run one game at a time. So that means what you have actively loaded in the memory is likely going to be 2 to 4 gigabytes. 18 gigabytes of RAM is just way overkill. It looks good. It sounds good. It's something that's a great spec selling point when it comes to being a super elite gaming phone. But otherwise, not very practical. So I wish it were a little less on the price category, but still, it's a nice looking phone. It's cool looking, got some neat little trinkets and features, and that cooling fan will help keep you in the game, in the fight longer, because it keeps the heat down, which means that the processor won't start throttling. That's what happens with these processors. They might run okay for 15 minutes. They might run okay for 20 minutes, but once they reach that threshold, they start slowing down, and then you get frame drops, you get lower FPS, all that stuff. And this is what keeps you chugging along at a higher baseline frames per second and all that jazz running longer. So if you're really into gaming, go for it. If you're not really into gaming, I would say pick up something like maybe an S22 Ultra, which is what I choose to play my games on, other than my Xperia 1 Mark IV, which, if I like playing with a hot pan out of the oven, it gets kind of warm. Anyway, so that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, then please go down to the comment section. I'll get back with you. Hopefully this was helpful. I had a few people that asked me about this. I'm not going to buy this one. I'm sorry. I can only buy so many phones. And this one, I bought the ASUS Republic of Gaming 5 phone last year, and absolutely nobody watched it. So it doesn't seem like something most people, my core audience on the channel, are just really interested in. So I thought I would go ahead and offer my thoughts and opinion in case you want to know what I think if you want to go buy one. But otherwise, it's not something I'm going to pick up, sadly. I do think it's cool. I think it's a cool looking phone. I liked my ROG 5 phone, but it just didn't work out. So that's all I've got. Again, any questions or comments, please go to the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.